the Eastern Cape Division of the High Court in Gqeberha will hear the first part of the appeals process by the state of the acquittal of Timothy Omotoso and his two co-accused on charges which include human trafficking and rape. The prosecution and the defense will argue in court today the state's request for clarification of factual findings from the judge. Let's cross now to SABC News reporter Sisipho Ngcumbe, who is following this case for us. Sisipho, good morning. So we know that there was a rather great outpouring of disappointment and dismay after Judge Ngcumbe acquitted Timothy Omotoso and his two co-accused, and now, as had been indicated at the time, the state has brought its appeal. So what are we expecting today?
Well, a very good morning to you in studio, Sakina, and a good morning to the viewers at home as well. Indeed, we are expecting to hear in the Gqeberha High Court today, where we will be expecting to hear the state take its first steps in the appeal case against the acquittal that was the acquittal of Omotoso and his co-accused. Of course, we are expecting the state to actually lean heavily on Section 319 of the Criminal Procedure Act, which allows for them to actually question or to seek clarity in an acquittal in which they deem is not very clear. So we will be expecting to hear that today, and of course we are also expecting the defense attorney Peter Doberman to actually step forward as well and oppose or to dispute the appeal that will be made by the state. That being said, however, I'd like to take the viewers back to the 2nd of April of this year, earlier this year, when Omotoso and his co-accused were actually acquitted of all the charges against him. I remember the courtroom erupting, in response the minute it was announced, with the judge actually placing the onus heavily on the state, saying that the state had failed to prove their case beyond reasonable doubt, citing concerns within prosecutorial misconduct, as well as really heavily criticizing the amount, or rather the lack of cross-examination that had been done by the state in this case. Of course, we know that a cross-examination that was meant to take 9 days and a cross-examination of a case that lasted over 7 years only took a couple of hours. So the judge really did come down heavily on the state in that regard. But of course, we will be waiting to see today, that the state will be, saying that what they believe should have been the outcome of that case. But of course, remember that this will be on a legal basis as opposed to maybe disputing the facts or the evidence in the matter. And we also remember that there was quite a wide outcry following the verdict that was given in this case from both from the Jesus Dominion International Church, who believed that their pastor had actually been vindicated after spending 8 years in jail. But then at the same time, we had civil organizations crying that the NPA had actually let the complainant in this matter down. And so shortly thereafter, we saw the Director of Public Prosecution, Shamila Batohi, step forward in Parliament and say that a panel had been put together of legal experts and senior counsel who would be looking at whether this matter had any grounds for review, of course.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter Sisipho Ngcumbe, laying the foundation for us of what's to come later on today in the Gqeberha High Court.